Hello, and welcome to our workshop of today's Digital Alps Conference 2023. This workshop is entitled The Potential of Data and Artificial Intelligence for the Alpine Area. To start with one inspirational and interesting topic, I would like to invite Elisa Morganti from Hub Innovazione Trentino, and she's also a member of AG2, to give us some inspirational speech to start this workshop smoothly and to gain some interesting guidelines, for example. Hello, Elisa.
Good afternoon. I'm very sorry not to be here for you. I hope you can hear me well. And I'm very sorry not to be here with you in that beautiful place, but this period is I cannot move much. And I don't know if my speech will be so inspirational. I hope I try to do my best for this, but I want just to give the point of view of one of the action group of the USALP, and share with you what we as a subgroup in this action group are doing in terms of data for the topic of this workshop, that is how to leverage on data for innovation and sustainability of the Alps region, Alpine regions. I have a presentation, so I can share my slide. Just a second, and I will do that. Okay, so I think that now you can see it. And okay, so just let me introduce myself in a moment. So I'm Elisa Morganti, I'm an Innovation Project Manager in Hub Innovazione Trentino. Hub Innovazione Trentino is the instrumental body of the province of Trento that is dedicated to knowledge and technology transfer and valorization, moving from the research in our province to the several applications both in the business and public administration sector. So we, as you told you, we are mostly involved in AG2, and I'm also recently included the work of AG1. And the AG2 is the action group that is devoted to economic development. So what the AG2 wants to do is to foster the economic development of the Alpine regions, pushing a lot on value chains and a connection between several actors that can really help this development. It is divided in 4 subgroups that are by economy, wood, tourism, and digital industry, or smart industry, maybe better. And now he's involved, it is involved, the AG2 is leading one cross-cutting initiative on circular economy. And as we are leading in Hub Innovazione Trentino, the smart industry subgroup, and we have several focuses we are focusing on this, I can say 4 or 5 points. The first one is that we are obviously pushing on the digital transformation, creating the condition of digital transformation, mostly from the SMEs, the small and medium enterprise point of view. We really believe on regional, macro-regional cooperation to boost the integration and to support resilient value chains and supply chains. And we also believe a lot in the power of Industry 5.0, that is the step beyond Industry 5.0 that bring equation of the digitalization of the companies, also the human as a center of all the innovation processes, and environment as something that should be respected and considered in all the strategies related to the digitalization. But now we are also involved in this cross-cutting initiative that is promoted by AG5 together with AG2, AG1, AG3, AG9 that is promoting digitalization for the Alps, that you can see the main pillars of these cross-cutting initiatives that respect what is the agenda of the Digital Alps Conference. And us as AG2, we are more on these two black points that are key enabling technology for local economic players and data economy enabled by data spaces or open platforms. We are starting a lot in smart industry subgroup, but also in Trentino. We are working a lot on the trying to push the use of data for innovation process and to sustain sustainable development, sustainable and resilient development in different sectors. You maybe know, if you don't know, you can find this some references that data are now central word. Central is now a central topic in a lot of European strategy, starting from European data strategy, but also other cross-sectoral legislative frameworks. And but there is a big push to create new data spaces, enabling the connection and sharing of data, and to really consider data as an asset, both for private and public organizations, that can really exploit the value of data, both in their business innovation processes in case of companies and business, but also for providing new services and new evidence-based decision making. So what we are what is one central point for what we are doing in a smart industry subgroup is that we want to try to promote and facilitate the sharing and the use of data coming from not only public sector, not only open data, but also integrated data coming from the private sector. Because you know that the private business, private organization has a lot of data that that usually are not shared because of several reasons. And but they can become really a common good for all the other actors that can benefit from this data. And usually the reason why these are not shared, and there are several, as I told you, but first of all, is maybe the simplest one is the lack of skills, of competencies to share the data. A second one is related to the a matter of trust, and because companies don't understand the value of sharing the data, and they are afraid of giving away their data as open, so limiting their competitiveness and mining their industrial secrets. So this is something that it can be overthrown by with using the right condition for data sharing. So what we are saying that if we are able to integrate all this data, creating a trustable and platform or framework for data sharing, this data can be very useful for evidence-based decision making. For example, these are just examples that you can see here: data-driven research and innovation, Industry 5.0, and new data-based business models. So there are really a lot of opportunities in the use of data. One thing that I like also to share with you is that the data can really help to the creation and of new forms of value chains that can be cross-regional and can go beyond a linear value chain, but can be considered a value network, because it relates on the data, and data are not just linear, but they can have different aspects and different cover different different viewpoints on how this data is used, consumed, shared, managed, transformed. And so also some actors that usually they don't connect in a value chain, they can find really a new forms of collaboration based on data. Obviously, data have not a topic. They are, it is, sorry, it is, that data is very, very generic word, you know, and it can apply to very different sectors. I just named here some of the sectors that are relevant for the Alpine regions. First of all, for example, the tourism that can help in the management of hospitality structure, provision of fluxes, so to manage the over-tourism, for example, for mobility, risk management, including risk related to the climate change, and energy management, water resource management, and in the field of agriculture and forestry. So really, we don't expect to have, we are not dealing with a vertical topic. We are dealing with data as infrastructure that can be valorized in very, very different sectors. And another important thing to say is that data has not borders. So it is important that while we are dealing with data, we go across borders and trying to connect different region and different data coming from different regions, and approach this data using the same language and the same frameworks and rules behind them. And just a few things that I want to share with you. What are the steps needed to enable data benefits? First of all, is the increased awareness on feasibility and impact of data-driven innovation, both in the public administration and in businesses, making data discoverable and accessible, encouraging data sharing and use from public and private sources, fostering the skills required to capture the full potential of data, ensuring sustainable long-term access to data through skill curation, governance, and appropriate infrastructure, and demonstrating the value of new forms of collaboration based on data and the creation of database in the value networks. And there are also more technical aspects that can enable data benefits, including infrastructure, accessibility, organization, quality, and availability. And we as in Alpine Trentino, but also in the subgroup, we are working in this second point that is related to the access right licensing. And we are involved in two main projects. One is ended, now is now, that are related to the digital IP management. So the first is the GoDeep project that is on the digital IP management itself. And then the Zoom project that is focused more on making business using open licensing, open data, open software, open hardware. And yes, you can find something more on these projects on the website, mostly of this Zoom website. And at the end of this year, we are starting some awareness activities related to the Zoom project. So if you are interested, just follow the website or drop us an email to be connected with the activities of this project. And I think that's all for me, for my side. And I hope it was quite inspiring. And if you have questions, I'm here for that. I'm staying at the end of the session, till the end of the session. So please contact me if needed.
Yes, thank you, Elisa. Yes, please stay with us until our speakers are finished with their presentations and speeches, so we can discuss a little bit this topic with you. Our next speaker is Mr. Roberto Sandrini from Veneto region, or region. I don't know what is the right pronunciation. Region, okay. Roberto Sandrini will present his results, mainly results, from DAC project, which are, this project is boosting actually open data based public services on tourism, mobility, and environment. So, Mr. Roberto, the floor is yours. No? But, okay, so I have to share it, sorry. Oh, sorry, yours, Roberto Sandrini. I was watching him. Okay.
You should have my presentation.
Yes, but...
So, good afternoon.
But I don't know how to share it because this is the
In the
thing
meantime,
for
I'm
the
waiting for
okay.
my presentation. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm representing the ICT and Digital Agenda Department of Veneto region. And of course, my participation is representing the team that is working in our region and is dealing with the data. We are working on data from several many years, and I will try not only to explain you one project, that is DEAS project, but how DEAS is contributing to the overall regional strategy concerning the valorization of data, and then the next step that our region is going to implement that are strictly connected with the artificial intelligence. So this is something like a roadmap that start from I think this yeah. That start from DEAS project, not only DEAS, but I will show you at the end that DEAS is just one stop in a long road that is related to the valorization of the open data. A few words concerning this project. It is an Alpine Space Interreg project that was coordinated by our region. I was the coordinator of this project. And the project aimed to achieve some concrete actions, mainly to develop a set of API. So we worked a little bit a step beyond the simple availability of open data, but tried to make them available with the innovative software that is the application programming interface. Actually, we produced some API that are available and fully accessible in the portal, the data portal of our region. The API that we have developed were linked to three main topics that we addressed during our project. First of all, environment. And you should remember that our project starting in 2019. So it was a little bit earlier. The topic was not so popular like in this new program, but we started talking about the climate change and how the open data can help regional authorities manage the impact of the climate change. The second topic was the mobility, and the third one was tourism. So we worked together with a group of partners. I'm showing you the partners and the project areas we involved with our project. We involved them for 3 years, mapping the data sets available, identifying the most valuable ones for planning new public services, and then produce the API to help the private sector support the regional authorities to increase the quality of the sectors of the services in the sector of the tourism, the environment, and the mobility. I list, just for your knowledge, the project areas that were involved in DEA's project. We had the Piedmont region and Veneto region for Italy, Lyon and Grand Est for France, Baden-Württemberg for Germany, Styria and Upper Austria for Austria, and Slovenia. Many organizations, some metropolitan areas, some sectoral agencies, and some regional innovation agency. We work together. You can see that the partners decided to work on one or more of the three topics. You can see that some areas decided to work on tourism, other on environment, but there was one transnational action related to the mobility that was addressed by all the project areas. And this was the challenge, because you know that the integration of data that are coming from different areas or different countries is really an issue. Additionally, there are different, unfortunately, standards applied, and not always the integration and the valorization of the data at the transborder level is so easy. There is a huge job that should be done on this side. The activities developed with these partners brought to 5 main results. I simplified a little bit, but the results that are available, replicable, and they are going to be transferred to other countries and to other institutions. First of all, we develop an Alpine space methodology to exploit the open data application. So it is a roadmap that starts from mapping the data through the elaboration of a service concept, till the selection of the data sets and their implementation exposed in the manner of API. We developed one platform. The platform actually is managed by Veneto region in the frame of the regional data platform that hosts the API, as I told at the beginning of my speech. One toolkit composed by business model to help the private sector enter into relationship with the public service, with the public sector, and cooperate to enhance the quality of the services. Some training materials addressed both to the public and the private sector to create the attitude to valorize the data. One DEA's strategy that was discussed in Brussels, it was the time of the Data Act, so we had a discussion with the officers that were working on the Data Act, and we share the Alpine strategy for the valorization of the open data or link open data. And last point, we created one group of institutions that are continue working for the valorization of the data, the improving the quality and the quality of the data sets available. This federation is strongly in touch with the action group number 5 because of the synergies and the cooperation that can go to the following step, maybe other new proposal. This is the summary of our project, but I would like to go a little bit beyond. Sorry, this is the platform. You see the link, and you can find all the information that I summarized before. The DAC platform is the place where you can find the API. I have other 2 slides. The first one explains how our regional institution design the topic of the open data with the transnational cooperation and some regional project. We started in 2012 with one Mediterranean strategic project that was just related to shared data. Then we had some local actions. We, for example, funded the Fab Labs in our region. 18 Fab Labs were promoted. And then we moved to another project that you see in another Mediterranean, that is Odeon project, that was focusing on the quantity and the quality. DAC is the last step because we work a little bit on new way to make data available for public services, and this is the API. I should say that it is not the last project, because actually we are coordinating one Interreg Europe that is sharing policies and financial instruments to valorize the open data in Europe. Last point, the investment that our region is doing for the data and to promote data and the use of data in our region. The first action was in 2015. As I told you, it was a regional law that allocated a couple of millions of euros for the establishment of 18 Fab Labs. In 2019, the first call for proposal in the frame of the operational plan 2014-2020 promoted the establishment of 10 innovation labs. They are public-private partnership around the big cities of our region to promote the quantity and the quality of data and the further development into application. This year, this month, we used the Recovery Resilience Fund for about 10 million euros to strengthen the relationship with our territory, and we developed 224 centers. They are called gym club, to reach 200,000 people and enhance their knowledge. And the last point, and I close, next year we have another call for proposal plan that will ask the Innovation Lab to go a step beyond, identifying new application between artificial intelligence and open data. So this is the roadmap that we are implemented around the topic of the open data. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roberto Sandrini. And now, Mario, it is your floor. Mario, Pichler comes from Software Competence Center Hagenberg, and he will talk about the knowledge technology or research transfer from ubiquitous computing research to meaningful digital transformation of the society in the Alps. Let's wait for your presentation.
Thanks for the introduction. Microphone works?
Yep, we can hear you. Okay, then we can switch the microphones if the battery is low. Okay.
Hello? Thanks. So should I wait until the slides appear or? Okay. Yes. Yes, thanks. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks to the organizers for having us here. So it's really a pleasure to be in this marvelous place and talk about this very interesting topic. My name is Mario Pichler, and I'm representing SCCH. SCCH is the acronym for Software Competence Center Hagenberg. So we are an Austrian research center for data science, software science, artificial intelligence, digital transformation, and a number of further emerging technologies like quantum computing, neuromorphic computing, and so on. And our main mission, so to say, is as application-oriented research center to bring academic research results into the industry. So we have a big network of industry companies as partners, and we are trying to optimize their industrial processes and so on. Okay, so we have Hagenberg is a small village near the city of Linz in Upper Austria. We are located in the software park Hagenberg, which you can see in the top picture. There's a University of Applied Sciences there. There are student dormitories there, and more than 100 IT companies and also research institutes from the Johannes Kepler University in Linz. You can see one of the facilities of the Johannes Kepler University at the bottom, because we also have some office spaces there. Okay, so what I would like to talk about today all relates to the topic of, from ubiquitous computing research to meaningful digital transformation for the Alpine area. I have put two additional terms on the slides. The first one is academic, because when I started my professional career as a researcher in 2001, at the Software Competence Center Hagenberg, ubiquitous computing was a rather new discipline. And in fact, it was coined by a researcher called Mark Weiser in the year 1991. So 10 years, it was only 10 years ago at that point in time. So it was a rather young research discipline. And his vision, I mean, he coined the term ubiquitous computing. And his vision was really that we have computing power available everywhere. It should be ubiquitous, but it should be invisible. It should be hidden in the background. We should be able to use computing technology as humans wherever we are at any time. So this was the academic thing. And nowadays, the term that corresponds to this early academic term of ubiquitous computing is now digital transformation. And we see that more than two decades ago, when I started my academic, my professional research career, this topic now has reached the society, but not with ubiquitous computing, but with digital transformation. And at the beginning of this century, lots of criticism was done also by very renowned researchers that ubiquitous computing at that point in time was very much technology oriented. So maybe this is true for every young research discipline, that researchers are and it's not working. Okay, thanks. so there was the criticism that researchers always did a technology push, and there was no question about, okay, what the real world is really needing. You know, sometimes it was not quite obvious what these new technologies are really for and if they bring benefit into our life. Yes, and when I read the invitation or the topic for this workshop about the potential of data and AI for the Alpine area, I was wondering what has changed since then, you know, since these early days of ubiquitous computing research. So are we still, so to say, in an area of technology push? You know, from the perspective of big tech companies, it could be considered like this, okay? But the question is if there is also a demand pool, meaning which needs and challenges do we really have in the Alpine area when it comes to data and AI? And obviously, when it's about AI that should bring benefit in the Alpine area, I think it needs to be very context aware. All the problems or all the solutions for that problems should really address needs that we really have in the Alpine area. But then we see another question. So because, you know, there are forerunning technology areas, you know it, for instance, from Formula One, you know, new technology is developed there, and then some years later, it also shows up in normal cars, okay? And so earlier, before we had this Alpine areas and the AI and data in Alpine areas, we already had smart cities. And later we talked about smart villages and smart communities. And the question is if we can, so to say, transfer know-how that we learned in earlier smart cities projects also to the context of smart villages or Alpine areas. So this is the question. Or are there really specifics to the Alpine area which really make a difference to what we already know from smart cities efforts? And also further forerunning technology areas, or one of these areas is the manufacturing. So we're doing a lot of research of data and AI applications in manufacturing. And the question here is as well, could we transform what we have learned there also into the Alpine area? So we have an ongoing H2020 project that's called Teaming AI, and this is about human AI collaboration. So SCCH is coordinating this. It's 15 partners from 8 European countries. And, you know, we as humans, we always were used to using technology as tools, you know, to supporting our capabilities. And in this project, we go a big step further. You know, we are talking also about a new paradigm of human AI collaboration, because now we see AI as a new teammate. You know, we do not see AI as a tool anymore, but we see that humans have strengths and weaknesses. Different human roles in a manufacturing setting have strengths and weaknesses, and also AI has strengths and weaknesses. And when it comes to work together, different human roles and AI, there needs to be trust. The question is if we can, so to say, transfer what we are learning in this manufacturing domain also in the Alpine area, if this is possible or not. But now let's go back to the Alpine area. So what are the needs and challenges, the specifics? And in the Interact project, Smart Villages, where also the moderator was taking part, we had this motivation, you know, that we wanted to find a solution together in Alpine areas or Alpine villages to the problem of the brain drain. You know, young people are leaving these regions, going for studying in the cities, and then stay in the cities and do not come back. And the question was, okay, how can we make Alpine areas more attractive for them to come back? And then the question is digital transformation a solution for that? I mean, in villages we were talking about the smart transformation. That includes digital, but not only. And when we are talking about digital transformation, then another question pops up, namely, what makes the difference? So what makes previous transformation processes? I mean, you know, since the beginning of humanity, we are in a continuous transformation process. We continuously try to improve our living conditions, our working conditions, and so on. So we are in a continuous transformation process. And now the question is, what is the difference to this digital transformation with AI and data as components? So is there a major difference? And if yes, how can we exploit it? Obviously, there are some potential areas. We have seen it in the presentations of the presenters before, and also in the plenary, in the introduction. So obviously, in Alpine areas, there's a strong need for mobility solutions. You know, if you're in a remote rural area, Alpine area, you do not have access to all the infrastructure that we are used to in cities, you know. And then the question is how you can reach this. And therefore you need mobility solutions. And I think that's the need. That's the reason why we saw also in the presentation of Roberto before the mobility as so important aspect. In addition to mobility, other infrastructure might be important. I don't know, digital infrastructure, entertainment infrastructure in Alpine areas. Quite obvious is the fact that research might extremely benefit from new data and AI opportunities. We heard it before when it comes to do forecasts of natural disasters and so on. We could use Earth observation data, which is generating big amounts of data. We are no more, as humans, able to process it. So we need AI to do this kind of stuff. Yeah, we know it from permafrost and also natural disasters, for instance. And then obviously in agriculture, then by energy, there might be lots of opportunities to apply data and AI. And maybe a bit more futuristic, when we agree that it does not make sense that in every Alpine village we have infrastructures like in big cities, then maybe virtual infrastructures could also be a possibility. Maybe too futuristic, but there are already talks about bringing infrastructure to Alpine areas via metaverse or something like this. I mean, in the end, it will be a question of priorities and business needs. I mean, if we have as value, as a priority, that we want to have infrastructure like we know it in cities, and we also would like to have it in Alpine village, then if we find a business case, obviously we would do it. Maybe it's not the best thing to replicate the infrastructure from cities and Alpine areas, but what I want to say is, I mean, if humans would find a business case, then most probably we would find solutions to install all these things. But the question is if we should also find other drivers besides business as the main driving factor to do new developments based on data and AI. I think there are lots of things that we could imagine. For instance, improving the standard of living in Alpine areas and in Alpine villages. And I think new data spaces, the sharing of experiences that are in data spaces, and using this data for feeding it into AI algorithms might help. Environmental protection could be a driver, or other targets of sustainable development goals, and there for sure are many, many more. So, and with that, I would like to end this. It should be kind of, you know, it's more a collection of considerations that came to my mind and questions. It's kind, you know, I would like to stimulate the discussion in this panel, maybe later on in the breaks and also in the at the dinner time, for instance. And thanks for watching, and also to the online audience.
Yes, of course, Mario. We will discuss it here and on the breaks and in projects and everywhere, because it was interesting. Okay, we are a little bit late, but no problem. You should take your time to discuss whatever you need to do. The next speaker is Mathieu Denot. Is it okay? Yeah. From Ore. He will present first results of Cervino, the Alpine Energy platform. And let's wait for the presentation.
Yeah. Yes, I sent it. Normally, Mathieu. Yeah, normally. Thank you very much. So I'm from Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes Energy Environment Agency. We are French regional agency based in Lyon and responsible for helping local authorities and the regional authorities on energy matters. And here I'm going to present some results, some first results of a Interreg USAL project called Cervino. And okay, thank you very much. So that was a presentation. So we have some partners throughout Europe on this project, IRE in Liguria, and German EVO company, and Xena in Slovenia, and URAC Research in Bolzano in Italy. And the goal of the project is to collect and build an Alpine energy data platform, providing a lot of open data indicators related to energy consumption and production. So we have had two main steps. The first step is collecting the data. So we have built a strong list of indicators that we have discussed with our partners in AG9 group. Throughout that we think we would need to help local authorities or regional authorities for energy strategy and energy transition. And we have also built a data collection platform associated with this list of indicators that enables every member of a regional agency or a regional authority to fill in its own data related to these indicators. So it's hard to have all the data. That is maybe the first lesson that we learned during this project. It's that collecting quite precise data throughout all USALP region is quite hard and and it's hard to have it exhaustively for all regions. So that was the first step. And then the second step was building a data visualization platform. So we based it on a platform already existing in France called Terristory, which we developed in our agency and which is open source. As I said before, one of the goals of the project is to provide some open data to be kind of a data public services around energy. And so that's why we chose to work with this open source application. So when you arrive on the platform, you have a little pop-up with some news, and then you have the right to select your own territory on the top right, and you can visualize any indicator available on the platform, either simple indicators, for example, just a raw total energy consumption, or more complex one. For example, on the top right, you can see that there is a small graph at the bottom of the screen, which is just giving the detail between three sources of electricity, hydropower, PV, and wind power. So that is the first feature of our platform, just visualizing the indicators that result from our data collection survey. At this moment, you also have the ability to download any data set that you visualized, so it can be used by any public authority or private company to build on our platform. So if you want to go maybe further on modeling or maybe creating your strategy, you can use our indicators, any indicator that we have put on our platform. There is also another feature, which is a public dashboard. I think there is a video, but I don't know if you will be able to play the video on in the PowerPoint. Excuse me. I don't know if you will be able to play it. Not yet, but anyway, we have some dashboard feature, which is allowing anyone who is logged in the platform to create his own dashboard by selecting a list of indicators, by selecting the kind of diagram you want to visualize. And then once you have selected and created your own dashboard, you can visualize it on any territory of USALP macro region. So it's very useful when you have to do some presentations, maybe some comparisons between territories. So we also publish some official dashboards that we have created on our own, which are based on some very specific topics, such as electricity production or maybe transport sector. And then anyone can visualize these official dashboards for any region. And the video was just showing that you can, for any dashboard, you can create like a comparison with another territory. No problem if you can't play the video. So you can have like 2 or 3 different regions at the same time on the same dashboard, side by side. And so you can have the differences and maybe the kind of difference in strategy and policies. And the last feature, that we have included is the ability to create some aggregation, dynamic geographic aggregation. So on the top right, you can see that I've created some kind of fictional aggregation based on language with Italian, French, Swiss, and German and Slovenian. So just to illustrate the fact that you can create and draw your own subsets of regions and then visualize any kind of indicator or dashboard on these specific custom regions. And on the top and the bottom left is the screen that allows you to do so. The idea is here that we can help any project, maybe on a boundary or maybe involving 2 countries or maybe 2 different regions, wherever in USALP. We can help them by providing them some data aggregated for their specific perimeter. So I think that's it. We have a kind of, we already have some lessons from our project, which are that data are hard to collect because it takes time to fill in data to be sure that we have the same methodology, at least in the big trends. So the first step is that it's hard to collect data, but there are a lot of potential actions that once you have the data, you can build a lot on it. But the first step is really to have those data and to have them published in open data on open source platforms, applications. So that's why I strongly agree with both Elisa and Roberto, who spoke before about the fact that we might need some digitalization based on those data. And I will be really interested in discussing with Roberto about the DAC project, because they spoke about the federation, and one of our topic now is how do we ensure that the data that we collected and the platform that we built will stay up to date in the future, and how do we ensure that it's useful for the public that we aim to help. So maybe a federation like you spoke about, based on AG9 partners, would be a good idea. And of course, there are a lot of technical and technological advances that we can build on AI, as Mario spoke about, and any kind of more complex application maybe in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mathieu. The next speaker is Mr. Christian Micheloni from University of Udine, who will talk about artificial intelligence for Alpine winter sports. The subtitle of this presentation is Passion, Vision and Dreams. So, Mr. Christian, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the introduction, and also thank you for having invited me here. So I'm going to wait for the presentation. Okay. In the meantime, okay, I'm Professor Christian Micheloni. I'm from the University of Udine, and I'm leading the lab on machine learning and perception, and I'm full professor of artificial intelligence. So what I'm going to talk about today is how we can use artificial intelligence for describing alpine winter sports. And actually, this project started with passion, because I like to ski. And also one of my PhD students was a former athlete of ski jumping. So we put everything together, and we tried to find out a project that was able to fund our passion. It's vision, because it's based mainly on computer vision. And we also have a dream to have a legacy about what we did. So the main goal, so the question that we wanted to answer and that we made actually, was how can we describe the performance of the skiers in a new way? Because now there is nothing there. So we heard before that Formula One has a lot of sensors, so they have digital twins to develop cars, everything, you know, nowadays. In ski, there is nothing. So we wanted to describe the performance, and we wanted to have a very high accuracy in describing the performance of the skier, from trajectories to how they approach the gates, how far, the speed, all the forces that they have on the boots, on the skis, and so on and so forth. So what we did actually, the first step was to make a proof of concept, and then we moved from the proof of concept to a real infrastructure that now is available in Tarvisio, so in the northern eastern part of Italy, close to Slovenia and Austria. And this infrastructure is made of a connection, a data connection made on optical fiber, on which we plugged different sensors. Actually, we have cameras and other sensors like LIDARs, but it's open to any other data that we want to have in the future for developing the future skiers. And together with this, as you may see, we have artificial intelligence that is enabled to understand all the data that we collect and to give an answer to specific questions. And can you play the video? Nope. Down is down, no, down, there is a play. You go down the video? No. There's no video. Okay. It's difficult to talk about vision if the video is not there, but I can try you to to imagine what we did. Okay, so here you see the skier at the beginning of the track approaching the gate. So what we did with the artificial intelligence was first to understand that there is a skier and where the skier is moving, and to make a track of the trajectory of the skier, and to compare this trajectory with the trajectories of other skiers. Okay, for human beings, it's very easy to understand that the skier is there and what he's doing, and that is going down the slope. But for artificial intelligence, it's not that easy. To put the skier where he is or she is, I can guarantee, is not that easy. And all my gray and lost hair are behind this understanding in the last 20 years. So the next, non-video, but should be there should be a video. But yeah. Just show the first shot, and then I will try to give a talk. Okay, in the other video, I was trying to show you that this technology is not based only on static cameras, but you can apply to moving cameras, and also on video collected by broadcasters. So it's open. You can plug in any video that you can find also online, and also broadcaster can use it, okay? It's not based on specific configuration of the technology on our infrastructure. And in this slide, I wanted to show you that is not related only on alpine skiing, but also on ski jumping, like this, where you can, here you should have seen that this ski jumper was making a trajectory, and it was overlapped with the trajectory of the previous athlete. And immediately, when you see the comparison of these two trajectories, you may find that why this skier was performing better, because he was higher and longer in the jump, okay? Without the technology, you cannot see, okay? And actually, this technology can be used also by the referees, because in the ski jumping, the results are made by referees that are giving points on different things while flying. Next. another example of non-video is freestyle. Here we have a skier that is doing freestyle. And here the detection of the skier is not that easy because the main artificial intelligence application are based on normal videos, okay? So you may know that artificial intelligence nowadays is based on learning. And learning mainly, when you have to detect people, is that people is walking on the ground. It's not flying and flipping on air, okay? So here you have to do more than that, okay, to understand that there is a skier and what the skier is doing. And also here, there were some different trajectories compared with different skiers. Okay, next. Okay, so the part of the dream is how we can impact with this technology and have a legacy of this project with other projects that we already are involved in. Okay, next. Okay, I can do it, right? Okay. Okay, so we can for sure impact in the training. So we improve the training of the athletes because with this technology, both athletes and coaches can directly see what is doing on the track, and also the training can be more sustainable because you have to do less training, is more accurate. You have a direct comparison, and we can enable this technology with a direct view of the results on tablets or smartphone. We can build an app and give this to professionists. And we can have more spectacular competitions. So it's not a news, but young people is losing passion on skiing. We have less and less skiers on there's no tracks and ski resorts. And with this technology, we can, provide data on the smartphone of audience, both in present and also far away, because we can reach with data, everybody, everywhere, every time in the day. And we can also deliver this technology to broadcaster. They can plug it into their transmission. We did it for a competition this year in our region. So it's also good for the economy of the multimedia business. We promote and we think that this can reach a higher presence of athletes in the winter resorts, but not only professional athletes, but also, amateurs ones that maybe want to challenge themselves, in comparison with the professional athletes, because we can keep data that were generated by the champion of a special slalom, and we can compare. We can build the exact track of the competition, and we can compare the trajectory to show them how tough it is to be a champion. Okay, it's not that easy. How much training you need to do. So we promote, and we did the infrastructure of the first ski slope 4.0. We call it, where you can do whatever you want. It's, you can plug any sensor and get any data. And this data actually now is available and free. This is part of the infrastructure. You see, we put cameras on the snow cannons. This is a preliminary, obviously, infrastructure. And this is the slope, is the terrain slope that is used by the Italian, but also Slovenian and Austrian societies. And okay, the project involved many competencies and can be useful also to promote other competencies, like we miss completely biomechanics. So with the understanding that you can have in this kind of environment, you can, for example, derive knowledge about possible injuries on skiers on normal ski tracks, and bootstrap the emergency rescue, because you can forecast a possible injury that a skier had while falling. Okay. Okay, this project was financed by the EYOF competition in 2023, that is the European Youth Olympic Forum, so it's the Olympic Games of young athletes. Our region, so Friuli Venezia Giulia, and by the University of Udine. Okay, no, this is the next, so I think I'm done. I conclude.
Hello. Thank you very much, Professor Micheloni, and apologizing. We are all apologizing for these technical issues today, because you were all really well prepared, and also our participants would like to see more, but okay. Apologize for that. The next and last but not least speaker of today's workshop is Ms. Sandrine Percheval from ADRETS. She will present territorial diagnosis using relevant data, of course. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So I will present myself. So ADRE is a local development association in the Alpine space of France. And I am from Gap, so the South Alps of France. And I have 5 hours this morning on a road trip, so I am a little bit tired. Sorry for my English. So the presentation. I wanted to share with you a different point of view of data. The point of view of the territories we support, and we help to know how to make some decisions, some good decisions for their development. And we work a lot with rural areas, so territories that are not yet really, they have not so many skills about analysis and data analysis. So it's a point of view of users, not technical point of view. So the first slide is about which difficulties Alpine rural territories are facing in accessing data. So there is a lot of lack in access of the platforms that are existing, data platforms. They don't have this information. They don't know that the platform are existing, and we see a lot of platforms in European projects, but they not arrive. They didn't arrive on the field. So the second point, it's about skills, in-house skills. So they don't have a data analyst position in their in the local authorities, and they don't have the skills to analyze the data that is collected, that are collected. And the third point is about method for collecting quantitative and qualitative data. We think a lot about quantitative, but not the part of the qualitative process. And the qualitative process is a little bit more long and with a good animation. Okay. So I try to share to you process that we that we do with in a project, not an interreg project, another project, but that was very interesting to identify some steps to create a shared and local diagnosis. So we identify 6 steps. I hope that you see a little bit more in online than in real. So the first one is about creating a local community to think together for the second step to define objectives together and to identify some relevant data that we really can use to illustrate the needs of the populations. And the third step is about choosing this relevant data. And you see that there is some different colors, and the yellow colors is about to have a good animation, local animations. The blue is about to have specific data skills, and the green one is about to mix animations and data skills. And so the fourth step is about collecting that and quantitative and qualitative data. The fifth is about creating data visualizations, and the sixth is about providing a shared analysis. So I have some details about the steps. I share with you some illustration of the projects that we did. So creating a local community is really to create a space, a participation space with local organization, public and private, to share the competencies and knowledge of the organization, local organizations. They already know a lot about their territories, and we have to share between. They have to share between them to identify the good objectives to analyze. So the second one is about to write the objectives together, to know what we want to discover, to analyze, to illustrate. The project is that I show you is about illiteracy, digital illiteracy, and isolation in rural territories. So next step. So we have a long time with this local community to identify which data we want to collect, and we have some other experiments that we can use in our thinking. So there was 2 French experiments with the French National Organization of Digital, and another laboratory in the Brittany region that think about which data we can collect to make a point of view about a theme. For example, here it's information access on the territory. It's the fragility or vulnerability of the populations of the territory, and so on. The first step, so collecting qualitative and qualitative data, was a lot about identify which platforms could provide some data. So there are some national organization, I think, in France and in the other territories, in the other countries, where we can find those data, but if there is a lot of data, how we can choose which data we want to illustrate what we want to show. So
we only have 5 minutes.
Yes. Creating data visualizations is about choose the good numbers to show to the local authorities and councillors to provide them some idea of the vulnerability of the territory, and it's not so easy to choose these numbers and to do some decisions. And it says that choosing data is already a choice. It's not only choosing numbers. It's not an objective choice. It's a subjective choice. But we have to do with that. And the last one is the providing a shared analysis. And so to write the analysis, to make a storytelling of the territories. And here is an example of a monograph. And but we have to share with the community that that's the results, and to make a debate about that. So the last one. It's a proposal to develop access to data for territories. So we are part of the Smart Community project. So we know that European project can help to develop local skills, but maybe in the field of the data, what the territories could need is, for example, a data analyst position shared between several territories, because big cities have their own data analyst in their in-house, but not the small territories. Another example could maybe be to create training courses for territories to use data without any specific skills, like we try to do, and like we try to show that it's possible to do that work without specific skills. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sandrine. Now we have only 1 minute, so we don't have time to many questions, I believe. But if you have one, you can put it now, also in the chat box if you wish, and we will try to answer during the break, but you will get the answer in some summarized workshop wrap-up at the end of the whole day at 17 and something, because we don't have enough time now. But if any questions is here in the public, I can see some. Yep. Yeah. Microphone. Thanks. A lot of them.
Better than one. Okay. Do you think that artificial intelligence are ready to to find a way in the Alpine region, because nowadays I think that I thought that you have started the data analysis, okay, but following the project of starting, like the professor of Udine University have spoken for make a study for the performance of the skier. That is the unique the unique that I I have sounded heard. Bravo.
Ah, the unique idea. Or yeah.
Yes, okay. That's thanks. That's
Ah, the only
during this
presentation
workshop,
today. Ah,
I
okay.
have heard many people that have spoken about data analysis, research, is okay.
Ah, okay.
But about some project of implementing some project of artificial intelligence, I've heard only from
Yeah,
team.
maybe explicitly, but they were
And
all.
I'm asking if this region that have people that live through the Alps, about your opinion, is ready to find some project of artificial intelligence for make improvement for business, for health or tourism and so on. At this moment, I heard only him for skier. Me, personally, I tried to present a project, not an application with artificial intelligence during the COVID lockdown for tracking the safety on the ski slopes, but nobody have reached me. So I think that we are not ready for this. Nowadays,
Sorry.
we need to develop.
Who is provoked now? Who would like to answer
Who
this
want to
question?
answer me.
I want just comment on
Yeah.
these, if I may, just very short. We are this is the second year that in Trentino we are doing working on the so-called AI challenge. That is a open innovation initiatives involving both companies and the public administration that can launch their own challenges that can be solved using in artificial intelligence. And we are seeing even more attention and interest in participating in this kind of initiatives because, yes, they are not ready, but they want to be. And so we have found out these things, and we think that we need to create more of this occasion to make different actors working together and exploit also the artificial intelligence for improving services, public administration, for new business models. It is possible. And yes, if you want to know more, the challenge is going these days. So let me know.
Oh, yeah. I know that in Trentino there is a project for metadata for tourism with Mr. Colombo that I know. Yeah, but Trentino, as I living in Aosta Valley, I am I'm here, and here is different that in Trentino.
Any other
Thank
quick
you for
response?
your answer.
Any other quick response?
I can talk a little bit about energy transition It's the only one I'm familiar with, and I think that we are not really ready about AI, but not because AI technology is not mature enough, or not because we don't have enough application cases, but because, as I spoke earlier, we don't have the data, and usually AI needs a lot of data to be efficient and to be precise. So the first step before building AI is collecting data. And so we have this project Cervino I talked about, but we have also other projects trying to build on this energy data platform, and hopefully in the next few years we'll have something like that. But
That's good.
it's a beginning, let's say.
Okay, yes. So if there are really systemic, I don't know, issues or challenges, then you really need a lot of data, yes. Okay, let's have a break now. We have only 10 minutes or 9, and then other part of today's workshops is happening. So we will see in the other part, and then in the wrap up of our workshop at 17:30, so 5:30. Thank you very much, all you, the speakers, and of course also participants who were interested in this topic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elisa. Bye-bye.
For the best practice and digital tools for energy transition, the workshop is upstairs.